Development Council. Your gateway to digital transformation. We are an independent, vendor-neutral ISO IEC 1024 accredited certification body committed to helping individuals and organizations stay future-ready in a rapidly evolving world. GSDC is accredited by the Accreditation Board for International Certification Bodies, ABICB. For 10 years, we've certified more than 100,000 professionals across Europe, North America, Asia, and Africa, with our offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore. Our programs are recognized by leading publications and podcasts, including Forbes, Tech Target, People Managing People. We offer 100 plus globally accredited certifications across emerging and in-demand domains like generative AI and emerging technologies, HR and learning and development, project management and agile scrum, ISO and quality management, information security. Each GSDC certification is designed to empower professionals with confidence and help organizations stay competitive in a fast-changing landscape. Every certification is crafted with insights from 100 plus global advisory board members representing top universities and leading industry experts. Our certified professionals are trusted by 500 plus multinational companies, which help unlock better roles, faster promotions, and delivering cutting-edge expertise. We partner with 100 plus authorized training partners and 50 plus universities, supporting talent across all career levels, from entry level to executive leadership. As a GSDC member, you gain lifelong access to interactive webinars, hands-on workshops, SME panels, and global summits. Join a vibrant community of 25,000 plus members and be part of our global events. Check our reviews on Trustpilot. We're trusted worldwide for quality, support, and impact. Whether you're aiming higher or building tomorrow's talent, GSDC is your partner in purposeful growth and impactful leadership. Visit our website to explore our offerings. GSDC, share the best practices and learn from the best practices. Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to digital transformation. We are an independent, vendor-neutral ISO.
Hello, dear participants. Thank you so much for joining today's session. We'll be starting a session now, and I apologize for the delay. We were facing some technical issue. Hope you understand. Please allow me a minute so I can share my screen and we can start with the session. And meanwhile, please let us know where you are joining this session from. That is something that we would love to know. Please let me know in the chat box. And here we go. I hope you all can see my screen, and thank you so much for joining again for this amazing session and series. I would love to welcome you all on behalf of GSDC to this amazing series that we have started and designed for specifically for our SEO experts plus AI experts. So here is the series name is GSDC Certified Learning from Blue Lanes to AI Citations, Mastering the GEO Playbook for 2026, with a theme that is winning visibility in the first AI first search era. My name is Preetham. I'll be here as moderator. Please do let me know if you have any concern or question. Feel free to reach out to me over the chat box, and I'm very happy to assist you all. And it was truly honor to host this entire series, which is started from 26th to 30th January 2026, and we had this incredible panel of experts aligned for this previous session, and today we have another incredible experts aligned for this today's session. So I'll be introducing our today's speaker in my next slides. And before I could hand over the session to our speaker, would love to introduce our hosting organization, GSDC. We known as Global Skill Development Council. We are vendor agnostic, vendor neutral. We are globally recognized certification body, and we are accredited by ABICB. We do have 100 plus certification portfolio with us, and we have certified more than 250,000 professionals worldwide. We have 500 plus subject matter experts with us. They work with us closely to design our exams, programs, and all the deliverables. Also, we are associated with 1000 plus multinational corporates and 500 Fortune companies and 50 plus universities across the world. A very proud thing to share with you all that we do have 100 plus authorized training partner across the globe. We have partner in Asia, Africa, Canada, America, and many other countries. So I would love to thank you those who have joined us to our training partner channel. In case if you're looking for any training program for yourself, feel free to reach out to our training partner to have an inquiry about it. I'll share the contact details shortly in the chat box. A special thanks to our official media partner, World Press Hub. They cover all our events and press releases. I would love to introduce you all to this truly exciting thing that GSDC introduced earlier, GSDC AI Studio. This is a platform where we are providing 100 plus live sessions on AI monthly, which is led by global experts, where you'll be getting 4 daily sessions, which is 45 minutes of live impactful sessions along with the hands-on learning. This is the platform and opportunity, you may call it, where you'll be getting to learn from the AI leaders, global leaders around the world. Real-time practice, which means you'll be getting a platform where you can apply all the concepts immediately that you have learned in that particular session, and in case if you have any question or doubts, that will be resolved instantly with the help of our subject matter expert. So this training is aligned with the industry standards for the job ready skills. And how you can access to GSTC AI Studio in easy 3 steps. You can start your learning right away for 14 days completely free with no cost, where you'll be getting access to 80 plus live session each month and full access to GSTC Studio. The next plan that you can go for is a GSTC lifelong membership with $109, where you'll be getting lifetime access, 80 plus live session each month, full access to GSTC Studio, free GSTC membership, full access to GSTC access to physical events, and LinkedIn profile improver. The last plan that you can go for is GSDC certification plus lifetime membership, which is limited time offer, of course. So you'll be getting this for $100, and the access that you'll be getting for GSDC certification, all benefits of lifetime membership, personalized coaching, capstone project plus AI tools, GSDC Copilot, and assessment tool. In case if you want to know more about this GSDC AI Studio, feel free to reach out to a learning advisor. I'll share the contact details shortly in the chat box. So I would love to tell you all, we do have certification portfolio. In my previous slide, I mentioned that we do have 100 plus certification portfolio, which almost includes certification on each domain, which is L&D, HR, generative AI, agentic AI, emerging technologies, ISO lead auditor and implementer, project management, PMO, agile DevOps and SRE, cybersecurity, digital transformation, and so on. So this certification is specifically designed for all the professionals worldwide who are looking to upskill themselves and who want to stay industry relevant in this AI era, right? So if you want more information regarding this certification, feel free to reach out to our learning advisors. They are always there to help, or you can visit our website, which is www.gsdcouncil.org. What all benefits you will be getting with this? So you'll be become GSTC's member for a lifelong. With that, you will be getting certificate upgrade. You'll be having free access to all our events, workshop, boot camps, and guess what? You'll be having free access to all our exclusive learning program that we have. With that, along with that, you'll be getting implementation resources, speaker invites, and newsletter. A lot of benefits, right? So get in touch with our learning advisor to understand more about these benefits. And without any further delay, I would love to introduce our today's speaker, Bernard Yong. He's a founder at ClearScope, and he'll be taking us through the topic, how AEO and GEO AI SEO actually works. I would love to tell you all more about Bernard here. So as I mentioned that he's the founder of ClearScope, one of the world's leading content and AI platforms trusted by global brands like HubSpot, Shopify, Condé Nast, and IBM. With over 9 years of experience building ClearScope as a fully bootstrapped and a profitable company, Bernard is a recognized authority in SEO, content strategy, and AI-driven search visibility. Today, he advises marketers and business leaders on how to win visibility across Google, ChatGPT, and emerging AI-first discovery platforms. Please join me welcoming Bernard Hong, and I do apologize again for the delay. Thank you so much, Bernard, for joining today's session. You can have the handover of the mic now, and a warm welcome to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the introduction, Pritam. Can you hear me okay? I'll take
Yes.
that as a yes. All right, so we're here, and definitely check out all of the GSDC resources. They got tons of awesome information, and they're the reason why I'm here talking to you about AEO, SEO, AI stuff. So as you know, Google has been really evolving the way that search works. And we are now quickly moving into a world where instead of Googling something and getting 10 blue links, you are likely going to have conversations with an artificial intelligence, whether that's through Google's AI mode or ChatGPT, Claude. The world of search is evolving, and we as digital marketers, SEO practitioners, really need to be evolving our own skill set into tackling this new world of AEO, GEO, AI SEO. So with that in mind, we will cover a variety of different concepts, mainly, what's happening, what are the key differences between answers versus searches, how AI comes up with a response, but more importantly, some practical how-tos. How do you actually influence the AI responses? How do you track whether or not AI visibility is working? And then we'll summarize everything and open it up for questions. So the backdrop is that this is kind of a joke in the stock market world, but basically lots of clicks are dropping off your traffic, right? It's not happening as much anymore, and that's largely due to the fact that AI overviews are answering queries instead of having users click into queries. We also have a lot of people who are no longer going to Google. They are instead turning to ChatGPT, perhaps Gemini, to ask questions. And this whole idea of clicks and traffic is quickly evolving into AI responses. Right, so this is what I'm referring to. When you chat with these different conversational models, what ends up happening is that you need to win the response or the brand mention and get yourself included within what these models are talking about. Lastly, we're going to see that Google eventually will turn on AI mode, basically routing complex queries directly to the conversational element. I expect that that's going to happen sooner rather than later. And it's also just another nod to say that AI responses are going to be the future of how people expect to get answers. Lastly, right, this is just another joke, but executives are breathing down the backs of the digital marketing teams, the content teams, and really asking, okay, what are we doing about getting our brand visible within AI searches? And that's what this talk is going to be all about. So answers versus searches. There is a lot of comparison that people make to say that AEO, answer engine optimization, or GEO, generative engine optimization, are very similar to traditional SEO. And that is because there is this fact that AI is trained a large part on search data, and also they're being grounded when they perform the different searches because they want to verify that the responses they're giving back to the end user are factual, they're up to date, and they're accurate. And that's why you see the models themselves performing web searches to then make sure that their answers are going to be correct. Key differences then between AEO versus SEO happens to be around the goal, right? So in AEM, what you're doing is that you're fighting for influencing the answer. What you get rewarded with is a brand mention and therefore branded searches, right? If I'm asking ChatGPT, what are the best AEO tools, and it mentions ClearScope, then I get rewarded with that brand mention, which means that users are likely to Google ClearScope as a brand and then want to learn more about my brand. AEO is therefore probabilistic because it's an answer and it's not 10 blue links. Whereas as you can see on the right, SEO is deterministic, you're fighting for rankings and you're rewarded with search traffic. Just to point out here, this is John Mueller. He is one of the key spokespeople of Google and more specifically within search engine optimization. And he's saying good SEO is good GEO, and there is a lot of overlap between the two. So we'll talk about how they overlap, but more importantly, how they're different and what you need to be doing to tackle the new era of search. and you should just do both. All right, so to understand how to influence AI responses, we need to understand how AI responses are constructed in the first place. You'll see here just a nice little graphic of what you get as the end user is an AI response after you ask an AI model a prompt. However, there are very much so deeper layers as to how the AI model constructs the response. Number one, it's going to be training data. Training data commonly comes from Common Crawl, Reddit, different parts of the internet. And that's what these models are trained on. How you would influence those would be things like, search engine optimization, brand mentions, so on and so forth. Next up, what the AI model does is that it tries to validate the answer it's about to give to the end user because there's going to be gaps within its understanding, right? The latest Gemini models are trained on training data that's only goes up to January of 2025, which is last year. So if I'm asking it things like, what is the price of Bitcoin, or what's happening within, Fed rates or something like that, which are all current events, the model is not going to know. It's going to know and understand that it needs to perform a search to then look at what has happened and then construct the response. Lastly, you have what we call the memory and context layer, and that just is the fact that these different models are going to personalize their responses based off of how you've interacted with the model before. So how are LLMs trained? Not going to get too much into the weeds of all of this. Just know that there is a lot of training data that goes into it that is based off of supervised learning and, human feedback. What ends up happening is that the training data is being used or kind of screened out using the search engine results pages, right? So Google last year cut the internet off from scraping the top 100 results. And why that matters is that most large language models rely directly or indirectly on the Google index to inform, right, the training data for the topics that the models are referring to. So topic authority is just the fact that, you as a brand have published lots of content on specific topics, and that is largely being used to train these different models as we know them. Training data, like I mentioned before, has a knowledge cutoff. This is the latest Gemini models. The knowledge cutoff is, again, last year, January of 2025. So the validation layer, as you can see, when I prompt ChatGPT 5.1 for something that might have some semblance of needing information about something trendy or current event like, what it's going to do is it's going to search the web. Why AI performs the web searches is because AI wants to prevent inaccuracies caused by outdated training data and knowledge cutoffs. This is also why AI cares a ton about freshness, right? Lots of people say, oh my God, you got to refresh your content constantly. And that's to say that that's because AI is depending on updated content to provide responses to the end user. So, right, just a flow chart to map out why the AI, kind of performs the web search. The user asks the prompt, it determines if current training data can give an accurate answer. If it's yes, then AI is going to respond solely based on the training data. If it's no, AI will perform the web search to validate facts, and then they're going to add the memory and context before you get the overall AI response. You'll see here within AI Studio, the way to understand how these models are actually performing searches is actually by examining the way that the model thinks. In technical speak, we'd call this the reasoning chain, right? So you can look at the different models and you can understand how they're thinking about specific, topics. And you can also get to the actual web searches that the models performed, as you can see here, from either the API or the AI Studio. Memory and context, again, is the last layer. So once the AI has understood your prompt, looked at the training data, determined whether or not it needed to search the internet, before it gives you the response, it's going to take into consideration everything that it has already known about you. So for me, as an example, right, I'm in my mid-30s, I live in Austin, Texas, I'm a small business owner. The models are going to take that into consideration before giving me my response. So if I prompt, where can I find a good lawyer? It's going to know I probably want a lawyer in Austin. It's also going to know I probably want maybe a tech or small business focused lawyer. And it's going to augment its response to my understanding or its understanding of me. So yeah, you can see here, based on what you know about me, make a guess as to who I am. And it says, all of these different things that it has understood just from all of the past interactions I've had with it. All right, so AI responses, I'm just going to kind of show you here. This is John Mueller, right? He's basically breaking out the same sort of diagram saying that like, okay, you have a prompt, it goes to the LLM, and then the LLM, right, will ground or perform web searches to the search engine before providing the overall response to the end user. And that's what we're seeing happen, which is why AEO and SEO have such a strong overlap with one another. Except in the AEO world, what is happening is that the AI models are the ones performing the searches rather than users, which would be from the SEO world. All right, so that's all the theory behind how an AI constructs a response, and that's fun and all, but let's talk about actual hands-on practical ways to influence models. To go and think about this, we have to, again, go back to understanding how an AI response gets generated, right? Number one, we have the training data. And number two, we have the searching or the reasoning or the validation layer that the AI is going to do. And number three, we have, the memory and context. Memory and context is basically, in my opinion, a complete black box because you don't know how the models are using that information. And you also don't know how people are talking to their different AI agents. That leaves us with two ways to influence the training data or the response, which is training data or validation. The problem with training data is that it's slow. And it's also a very opaque process. We'll take a look at, all the different sources that the previous models have used within their training data, but it's all to say that yes, you publish some content and some of it will end up within the training data, but training data takes a long time to update, right? Like the latest Gemini models are still 1 year behind with who knows how long it's going to take to get to the next model. The other way to influence the AI response is to intersect the AI during the grounding or searching or validation process that it performs using SEO content. So we're going to focus the primary way of influencing AI responses on this validation layer because it's a lot faster and it's a lot more likely to occur. All right, your on-page AEO playbook then starts to look like this. Number one, at a high level, you have to understand AI topic models, right? What are AI researching for the different topics and prompts that a user is likely to ask for the topics that you care about as a brand? Number two, you need to then understand how to intersect the AI during that topic research process. And then number three, you get to influence the AI responses, which are, again, different outcomes compared to search. You don't get traffic anymore. You get citations, brand mentions, and branded searches. So let's dive into each one. Number one is understanding AI topic models. In short, you want to understand what topics AI already associates with your brand. If you're an existing business, you then want to identify content gaps within your core topics that you care about, and then you want to identify new topics to own. Now, a lot of people will debate how viable or good this approach is about asking AI what it understands the core topics are that are associated with your brand. I think that this approach is perfectly fine. It just gives you a directional idea as to what the models are thinking about in relation to your brand, right? So you can see here for ClearScope, I'm asking Gemini, because, Gemini is owned by Google. What are the core topics that are associated with ClearScope? And it gives me a pretty good idea, right? Content optimization, content strategy, AI, and LLM visibility. These are things that we care a lot about. The next step is to really then start to think about, okay, what are the content gaps that we have not talked about? Over here on the right, we have a screenshot of the ClearScope platform where we do this analysis for you. We take Google Search Console data and overlay it into the different subtopics that you could care about for your given core topic. Other ways that you could accomplish this is to use some sort of a topic clustering tool, some content gap analysis from one of the many different, SEO tool providers out there, or you could just, Claude code one of your own content gap analysis systems. But that would be step 2, is to understand, okay, within the topics high level that we care about, what are the lower level gaps that we had within what we want to pursue? Lastly is just, again, this is all like brainstorming type exercise, but just brainstorming what are the new topics that you currently are not associated with that you would like to grow your overall visibility in. For us, it's AI search, and AI search is obviously a very new field, given that AEO and GEO didn't really exist until, about a year ago, or I guess when ChatGPT launched about 3 years ago. All right, so step 2 is, okay, now you know your topics, the topics that you've already covered, that you're associated with, the gaps within your existing topics, and then the new topics that you want your brand to be connected with or known for. Step 2 becomes prompt tracking. Gemini and ChatGPT are the only AI platforms that matter. I'll point out some statistics there. I might even argue at this point that Gemini is really the only AI platform that matters, at least from a generalized search perspective. They're definitely positioned to win the generalized AI model. Obviously, the more commodity or niche sorts of AI platforms, I think, will go after specific segments like health or research or whatever, perplexity, all that stuff. But I think Gemini and ChatGPT currently are the only ones that matter. What you want to do is then you want to own the entire research journey of how a user could want to research any given topic. And then identify the Goldilocks subtopics, use prompt tracking to really understand how an AI is thinking about any given topic and how it's researching it, and then, build your entire strategy around this. All right, so prompt tracking, Gemini and ChatGPT are the only AI platforms that matters. There's been tons of studies and statistics that are done about this. You can see here from a, kind of a market share perspective, you have ChatGPT currently owning the lion's share, with Gemini really starting to grow. I think, this was taken all the way up until the last quarter of last year. And since then, Gemini has really just eaten more into the ChatGPT pie. You can see here all the other ones are pretty much just kind of very small to non-existent. It's important to own the entire research journey of your target topic, because what the AI models do is that they fan out queries based off of the prompt that the user asks. So if I'm asking best AEO tools to Gemini, what's happening in the background is that Gemini is saying, okay, given what this user is asking, I need to research, best answer engine optimization tools. They might say, okay, and Bernard's a small business owner, and so I might need to do, best, AEO tools for small business owners. It might then, ask, why do people need an AEO tool? And that might be another search, right? If it says, okay, Bernard has never asked about AEO tools, so maybe he needs to understand why, people are using AEO tools, so on and so forth. Owning the entire research journey of your target topic then becomes really important, because it presents your website and your content in front of the models at every step of the research that they might be performing. So prompt tracking becomes the way to understand how the different models are thinking about the reasoning and the different subtopics. So number one, the users ask AI questions through, or ask questions to AI through, well, questions, really. You can get questions from the people also ask, or I, like to just prepend the questions to the topic that I care about. So that'd be like going to Google, typing in best SEO tools, and then moving your cursor back to the best and then typing in what. And then it'll be like, what are the best SEO tools? What are the best SEO tools for keyword research, right? You can get the questions in that way. And then currently, there's no way to understand what prompt volume looks like. So we've just been suggesting that people use monthly searches as an indication of relative interest for the particular topic. You can see here, average monthly search volume for the different prompts available here. Prompt tracking is what allows you to understand how agents are thinking about any given prompt, right? So again, back to the screenshot, I ask user or SEO trends for 2026. It thinks, and then it says, okay, to give you back the response that I just gave, I searched predicted SEO trends, future of search, AI and SEO 2026, and EEAT helpful content update predictions 2026. This is very critical because it actually gives us insight into how the AI is thinking, but more importantly, searching for content when it's about to give the response. So you can see here the key difference then for SEO is not only the outcome, which SEO produces traffic and AEO produces brand mentions, but it's also within how to think about targeting the keywords that your brand needs to produce. SEO targets monthly search volume that is user-led. AEO targets AI web searches that is agentic-led. So very different starting points, very different ending points, but overall, everything in between is largely the same. All right, so an example here, we have a prompt. How can I optimize content for SEO? When we look at the behind the scenes of the web searches that Gemini is performing, you can see here, it searches SEO content optimization best practices, content quality and EEAT in SEO, technical SEO for content, on-page SEO content optimization techniques, so on and so forth. However, when we look at it from a keyword search volume perspective, and this is coming straight from Google Ads, we see that, well, there's 170 searches for keyword research for SEO content, but everything else, guess what? No searches. Now that is pretty interesting, right? So the way that AI searches is very different than the way that users search. This presents us a compelling opportunity to then give the agent quality content on the keywords that it wants to search for. What we're starting to see, and this is, kind of the fact that when you ask AI to do some stuff, it's very like hallucinatory, right? Keyword research using AI web searches sometimes looks very weird, right? Because the AI thinks that it needs to search in a weirder way than we as humans would think about searching. So that brings us to phase 2, if you will, of our playbook, right? We want to now intersect the AI research for the topics that we care about. What we're finding is that, again, since all of these searches that are being performed by AI are very weird, hallucinatory, so on and so forth, we're calling this the long tail, right? If you're familiar with the whole SEO thing, a head term is like, credit cards, right? There's a lot of search volume, high level topics, so on and so forth. The long tail would be like best credit cards for students, right? Something a lot longer, less search volume, but, basically more targeted, more transactional, so on and so forth. What we're starting to see is that, well, when users ask questions to AI, it's a very drawn out conversation, right? I might ask, plan me a 3-day itinerary that is family friendly. I prefer indoor activities and I am going to, Miami, for example. And, in the previous world, no one would ask that. But in a world where we're having conversations with AI, we're going to see much different long tail permutations being asked. And therefore, there's going to be low to no monthly searches associated with how people are thinking about that. So what the AI models need to do in that new world is that they need to rely more on topic authority and content relevance. In the previous world of SEM, you had keyword research, which had monthly search volume, keyword difficulty, and intent. And the way that Google would screen whether or not that content was good was through user engagement signal, right? Are people landing on this page, liking what they're seeing, reading, dwelling, and what happens, when they go back to the search results? Are they clicking on another result? So on and so forth. If they're not, or they're finding what they need, that's a good piece of content. But in this new world where AI web searches don't get any monthly search volume and don't have much competition, there is not any user engagement that Google can rely on. So we have to then start to think about what are the models going to then prioritize, because there's not going to be as much user engagement, and it's going to be, your brand's authority within the topic that you're talking about. Again, just saying that you need to create all kinds of topics or content targeting all kinds of topics that you care about, and entity relevance. Keyword research using AI web searches. You can kind of see here, there's this kind of interesting way of thinking about it over here, but it's basically to say that entities are the core thing that AI web searches are looking at, right? The reason why you're seeing kind of this long tail stuff is because it's including different entities that the model wants to perform additional research on. The, top layer of just layer credentials is very small and not that descriptive. And so what the models want to do is they want to dive deeper into the specific nuances of what they want to research on. And now it is our opportunity to then present the models with content that helps them, well, construct their answer, and therefore gives us the ability to influence the AI response. Creating quality content for AI is going to be even more important, but treated differently than creating quality content for users. Creating quality content for users has classically been that it needs to be helpful content, which is EEAT, expertise, experience, authoritative, trustworthy. And that's because users measure content very differently, right? We land on a page, we kind of look around, we say, okay, does this look, AI written? Can I trust the author? So on and so forth. But when users are no longer the ones that are consuming the content, and it's agents instead, we have to think about, okay, well, when an agent lands on a page, what is it looking for? And, my current hypothesis is that it's going to be prioritizing the entities that it's looking for, and also your overall topic authority as a brand within what you want to target. Next up, you would just publish the content. Nothing that you need to do really differently here. We've been publishing our content that targets, agents instead of users just on our blog. And then lastly, in the overall stages of this workflow, you get to then influence the AI response. Influencing the AI responses is, well, the leading indicator, if you will, is that AI citations influence AI responses. You can see here on the right, I have a GIF of Google's AI mode. I can click on each one of the links, and it will show me the sources that it used to construct the sentences or fragments that it's recommending for me. So when AI starts to cite your page, then your AI cited pages, A, influence the response, and B, are likely to get included in training data updates, and C, it gives you the opportunity to improve your overall brand sentiment that the AI cited pages are contributing to the overall responses. How to improve brand sentiment on AI cited pages is that A, you need to understand which pages on your website are getting cited by which models and which prompts. And then you want to massage and defend your brand weaknesses. So here's an example. We have a topic, how much does ClearScope cost? A prompt, how much does ClearScope cost? And then we can see here the citations. We are being cited by GPT, but not Gemini. So we can see here, if I go to GPT, because I know GPT is citing my, pricing page, and I ask it, what do you think about ClearScope? You can see here that the number one caution that it has is that ClearScope is often described as premium. Some reviews may say that it's less accessible for solo creators or very small teams, right? So you can see here, what I can do is I can say, okay, I know that GPT is citing my pricing page for the prompt, how much does ClearScope cost? I also know that GPT believes that ClearScope is very expensive. And then you can see here on my pricing page, I can actually add a section that says, do you offer cheaper plans? And, we recently dropped our starter package to $129 per month. But you can see here, I can then say this plan is great for solo creators, very small teams, which is then, again, trying to defend that overall pricing concern that GPT has with ClearScope. At the end of it all, you get to potentially win an AI brand mention. You can see on the right, we have this prompt, what are the best SEO tools available? And you can see ClearScope's mentioned by both Gemini and ChatGPT. At the end all, I think brand mentions are basically being compared to the same thing as rankings, right? If you can win the brand mention for the commercial prompts that you want to target, then you are visible and you are winning. However, you don't always get brand mentions. So that part is a little bit fuzzy. And what I mean by that is that if I'm asking a prompt, what is SEO? That's perhaps a prompt that doesn't get any brands mentioned, right? Because it's an informational query. So again, you just have to be careful to say that winning an AI brand mention is not the end all be all. It is obviously kind of the gold standard, but for certain prompts, you're just not, no one's going to get a brand mention. You'll see here, optimizing homepage and product pages become very important because not only do your homepage and product pages go into helping the different models understand who are your core customers, what are the use cases that you're solving, what industries, does your product or brand really satisfy. It also gives you the opportunity to optimize your pages for all the different branded searches, which are going to be the outcomes of how people search for your brand, right? That's the whole branded search thing. AEO playbook off page. I'm not going to get too much into the weeds of all of this because, well, that could be a whole other talk. Just know that AEO requires off-page signals to work as well, very similar to SEO. The thing where it differs from SEO is this idea of brand mentions and online reputation management. So just to backtrack, right, what a large language model is it's a corpus of documents and relationships between topics and entities. This is why brand mentions become more important than backlinks, because brand mentions get you the ability to associate your brand with entities and concepts that you care about. Links are not as important because large language models think about these things in terms of concepts that co-occur, not one page linking to another page, right? That was more of an SEO concern. As a result of language concerns, online reputation management or overall sentiment becomes way more important, right? If a lot of people are talking negatively about your brand, then that's bad. in the SEO world, it wouldn't matter as much because the whole sentiment component didn't matter. It was just, okay, how many links, how much authority are you getting? So all to say that, people have done a lot of studies here, and off-page AEO is very similar to off-page SEO, again, with the core difference, as you can see here, being brand mentions rather than links itself. There's a lot of confusion around tracking AEO progress, and that's very understandable because AEO is probabilistic, so it's hard to track. It doesn't always, show up, and if I get something, it doesn't mean you get something. And this is perhaps where the industry, still needs a lot of time to figure out what is the right way to think about tracking. But yes, back to this, right? This is why it's different. SEO is deterministic, AEO is probabilistic. That makes tracking a lot more difficult. There are leading indicators and lagging indicators. Leading indicators is impressions, right? So if you're getting a lot of impressions, it just means that, the model is searching and seeing your brand show up. Maybe users are searching, so on and so forth. So winning impressions means your content is visible to users in AI. If you're seeing that number go up, then that's good. Traffic, again, you're just not going to get as much of. Another leading indicator of gaining visibility in AI is citations, right? Citations indicate that your content is indeed influencing the AI response. And I would say it is a lot easier to get a citation because you can get a citation across any prompt. It can be informational, it could be transactional, it could be commercial, it could be whatever, right? AI citations just happen, and you will always be able to get them. So citations are leading indicators. Why citations matter is that citations are going to qualify you for future training data. You can see here I have the evolution of how at least the first 3 models of GPT were trained on. You can see here number 1 was books. Number 2, I guess this one might say Reddit links, which is kind of weird. But anyways, GPT-3, you can see here is Wikipedia and Common Crawl and journals and some books. Anyways, right? The mixes of how training data is being used is constantly evolving. But my speculation is that AI citations will qualify your domain to influence future training data. That's always good. You can see here the lagging indicator, the ultimate indicator of success in AI visibility is to get mentioned like this. AI citations will also boost your brand's topic authority, help you get mentioned by AI for the specific, prompt intents that you care about. Another lagging indicator is going to be branded searches, right? So this is our Google Search Console for ClearScope. You can see here that our overall impression growth is trending up and to the right, which means that more people, or users or agents or whatever, are searching for ClearScope. And that does mean that, we're boosting our overall brand authority. ClearScope does do a lot of the aspects of what we just talked about, helping you with topic exploration, tracking your overall visibility, as you can see here, within the different models. So if you want to check us out, we have a 2-week free trial that you can go and, play around with things. We also have a very strong content optimization feature, which helps you draft a piece of content, make it high quality, so on and so forth. Early evidence, the proof is in the pudding. You can see here, ranking AI slop influences AI responses. It's very frustrating to see ChatGPT referencing AI slop. You can see here, Brittany responds, but isn't this just a reflection of the search results? LLMs require search engines to provide URLs like this. So again, what we're seeing is that agents or models still need to search, right? They still need to validate the response that they're about to give to the end user. So what we want to do is intersect the agent with content targeting how they're searching, and then therefore we get the citation and then eventually the brand mention. You can see here, right? We're recommending then people target AI web searches with high quality content, and it's leading to more AI citations and more brand mentions. So lots and lots of these things where we target the AI web search, and then we get the citation for the brand. Key takeaways: your search traffic is declining. It's not coming back. That's just going to become worse and worse, especially when Google flips on AI mode and that becomes the default surface area where people search. Future of search then is about the battlefield to influence the AI response, not about, the links or the traffic or any of that stuff. AEO is very similar to SEO except for two fundamental differences. Fundamental difference number one is the keyword research component, right? Keyword research for AEO targets AI web searches. And then the key difference of how it's different is that AEO gets rewarded with citations, impressions, and brand mentions, and SEO, you got search traffic instead. This is just a summary of what we just talked about. And this is all in black. So anyway, oh yeah, become a ClearScope partner. Yeah, we do have an affiliate program. You can check it out there if that's something you're interested in. And yeah, questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, Bernard, for your contribution to GSDC through this session where you have provided insight on one of the important topic today. And as you said that we are open for the Q&A, I would like to request all the participants if you have any questions, draw. That said, I can see already we have got amazing questions over the chat box and I'll be reading for you one by one. So here's the first question from Harendra. What makes AI system choose one brand as a cited source over another?
What makes AI choose one brand as a cited source over another? It's generally a combination of, brand authority, topic authority, and just the overall content that you're producing. We do find that there is a strong overlap between high-ranking content and a citation, but it doesn't always match up one-to-one.
Great, thank you so much. There's another question from Harendra again. What tools or methods can track AEO or GEO performance today?
What tools or methods? Yeah, there's plenty of tools. ClearScope can help you track it. Or if you want to do it just more in a manual sense, right, you can just go to, usually I recommend, if you're going to do the Gemini stuff, to just go to Google's AI Studio. And then you can use, right, the latest, like this Gemini 3 Flash, the latest like models over here. And then you can just be like, what are the best SEO tools? And then you can run this. So you'll see here, right, the model is thinking like this. This is a lot of the screenshots that I was showcasing. And then, yeah, you can see here. So I dove deep into that. I'm, categorizing it by the different, there is a recent focus on AI search visibility, generative engine optimization, so on and so forth. And then you can see here at the bottom, it's going to show you, right, exactly what it searched to then produce the overall answer that you see back. So you can just come here and then query. This is again Google, like this is Gemini specific, and it gives you actually a lot of the nuts and bolts of what you probably want to see.
Great. Thank you so much, Bernard, for explaining it wonderfully. Moving forward to another question we have got from Sudarshan. How does the system verify the credibility and freshness of the source used by search engine before grounding the LLM's response?
Yeah, that's a great question. And the short answer is it doesn't. It just tries its best, to give you what it thinks is best. And, I'm just gonna caveat that to say that's how the web has always worked, right? When you're Googling for something, whether I'm like, okay, best SEO tools, in Google, how do I know that like Forbes is a good source for, the content? I mean, this one I know is a sponsored result, but yeah, like, how do I know to trust what this piece of content has to say? I don't. So it's the same thing that's happening in AI search. It's just Google and GPT are just guessing, and inaccuracies and hallucinations are always going to be a part of the problem that the data scientists are going to try to fix, but it's always going to be a problem.
Thank you so much, Bernard. So, Swapnil wants to understand the difference between AIO and GEO and how can we optimize the website for both?
If you're saying AIO as AI overview like this, and then GEO as the I'm just going to open up another one, GEO as the generative like engine component that you see over here. I'm just going to say that it's largely the same. So if I were to basically pull this up, left and right, it's going to be like, oh yeah, the best one is SEMrush and Ahrefs, SEMrush and Ahrefs, right? If you're looking for essential free tools like Google Search Console and Google Analytics, then you're going to see here, right, essential free tools like Google Search Console and Google Analytics. For specialized tasks, Surfer and ClearScope and content optimization, right? So over here, it didn't say ClearScope in this AI mode, it said Surfer over here. Anyways, it's basically the same thing. And we also know, I think this was said before, but if I click on show more, I guess we're over here. And yeah, let's dive deeper into AI mode. So this is all just Gemini stuff. Anyways, they're just different wrappers around Gemini.
Great. Thank you so much, Bernard, for another wonderful explanation. The next question we have got it from Sneha. What's your point of view on LMS text? How does it work? Is it similar to robot.txt, which we can track through Search Console? Is there any tool available for LMS like Search Console?
The short answer is, and this is what all the SEO people say, just in case you're wondering what llms.txt is this fact that in SEO speak, right, there's this robots.txt. It basically gives web owners a way to tell bots or scrapers what it can and cannot do. There's a movement then that says, okay, well, we're going to give people, an llms.txt. We don't care about llms.txt. No one from the formal Google team has said anything that llms.txt matters. So the short answer is that it doesn't matter. The longer answer is that I think Google AI Overviews UK block, they just announced that they're Google's starting to allow sites to opt out of AI overviews. Again, I don't know why you would opt out of it unless you're a publisher. But yeah, anyways, llms.txt is not a thing currently, and it's never has been a thing.
Thank you very much for the clarification. Moving forward to the next question. What criteria do AI system use to select content for citations?
Yeah, I mean, that's what people are trying to figure out, right? Like if we're talking about citations like this or like this over here, it's yeah, it's weird. It's a combination of, okay, you're performing well in Google search, but it's also not. And what I mean by that is that, and I can just like load up our ClearScope, is that we're starting to see different models have different biases in terms of citations. So as an example here, right, I have this prompt tracker. What are the best SEO tools available? I can click into this. We can see the web searches that both Gemini and GPT used. And then we can see that, right, ClearScope gets recommended, as you've seen in the different examples that I've pulled up previously. What you can also see, however, is that, there's all of these different citations. The thing about it is that, ClearScope, we have like a piece of content, but it's not really being cited within this particular thing. Also, as you are probably aware, Ahrefs has content around the best, all-in-one SEO tools, and so does SEMrush. But guess what? They don't get mentioned over here as well. So essentially what we're starting to see, right, this is SEMrush over here, but nowhere does SEMrush get mentioned and nowhere does Ahrefs get mentioned, even though we both have content talking about the best SEO tools. So why does this happen? I mean, this happens, in my opinion, because the models, Gemini and ChatGPT, are doing a commercial. They understand that the prompt is commercial, right? And they're saying, okay, we're going to talk about this and that, but we don't want to use any content that SEMrush or Ahrefs has talked about because we are recommending those products. So we're going to actively ignore them and we're going to look for specifically non-biased results like Wikipedia or Forbes or Zapier or Marketer Milk or Gartner, right? And so they're looking at non-branded domains to then talk about what are the best SEO tools available. Inherently, you can understand that the models are probably trying to prevent biases. And so all in all, it's to say you could rank really high. Let's go back to let's go back to the search results here. Right, you have the marketer milk, you have the water like stuff, the Gartner. So it's got a strong correlation with what is ranking, but it does not have a one-to-one parity. I think it tries to remove biases. Especially if you're like recommended in the overall like result.
Very well explained. Thank you so much. Vernon, would you mind if I take two, three questions more? If
No,
that's
go for
okay.
it. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Saurabh is asking why Reddit more valuable than keywords tool for GEO? What tool can track citations present today?
What tools can track citations present today? Well, lots of AEO tools can. I think there's a previous like why is Reddit important? And that's just simply because Reddit is showing up a lot in search results, as you can see here. Also, Google has a direct partnership to ingest Reddit data, so that definitely helps train the model even more. And then another cool tool that I like to use in terms of Reddit is F5 bot. It's free and you get basically emails for any keyword or topic that you want to monitor. And so it's really cool. You just type in, if you care about SEO, like we care about SEO, we could type in keyword research tool. And anytime keyword research tool as a keyword gets mentioned anywhere on Reddit, we get an email, and then I can go in and comment on those threads to build more brand mentions. And anyways, I'm just gonna say that comment spam on Reddit currently works, but I don't think it's going to continue to work. It's kind of reminiscent of maybe the early days of SEO where white text on white background or comment spam would work. So just be aware that this is probably a temporary loophole if you just spam and comment a bunch on Reddit.
Thank you so much. Moving forward to another question, but before that, I would like to tell all our participants that I do have some great announcement for all of you. So I request you all to please stay connected till the end. And that said, I'll be taking last two questions I can see in the chat box, or if you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to Bernard. I've already shared his LinkedIn profile link in the chat box. Feel free to reach out to him. I believe he has a lot of information to share about it, and he's happy to do that. So moving forward to second last question, can AI tools index our data for their chatbots the way Google crawls and indexes a website? How does it work? Can you explain these points?
Can you repeat that question?
Sure. Can AI tools index our data from their chatbots the way Google crawls and indexes websites? How does it work? Can you explain these points?
Hmm. Yes. Yeah, the short answer is yes. And so when I say AI tools index, right, I'm just gonna bring up ChatGPT. Right. So, let's see here. If I do something like, best SEO tools, you'll see here it's going to search the web like this. So when it searched the web there, it had some sort of either a cache of search results, or it hit Bing, or it hit Google. AI tools will index your website through searches performed on the internet or through training data, which is, people talk a lot about Common Crawl, right? Like this. So that's how they do it. And in that way, again, that's why a lot of people say AEO is very similar to SEO because the searches that get performed are essentially SEO. This is also why Google sues SERP API, right? So Google is suing SERP API. SERP API basically just crawls Google and searches its index for these different large language models. So essentially, AI tools just index based off of search, and that's why lots of people say AEO is just SEO, but which it is, but again, right, it's just a little bit different.
Thank you so much, Binan. So I'll be taking this question for a last question today. And I apologize, dear participants, in case if I'm missing any questions, feel free to reach out to Binan, or you can post your question over the social media and tag GSDC. We'll make sure that one of our subject matter expert is getting back to you with the answers. So the last question for today, we have got it from Shues. Will GEO take role of SEO in the future?
Yeah, definitely. It's a matter of when, not if. And let me just go back to this presentation real quick. This. All right. So Google search to route complex queries directly to AI mode, bypassing Google search, plus hints that Search Console will break out AI mode and AI overview data in the future was quoted. So I think it's a matter of, and this is why you see this AI mode, all the way on the left. It's just a matter of Google flipping it on. Once Google flips this on, then traffic for the most part is going to be a thing of the past, right? And so essentially search engine optimization will be this thing where, okay, if you wanted to go and like click on the all or the search results like filter in the same way that you click on like images, then you could do that, but why wouldn't you want this over, the 10 blue links where I have to go, okay, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? So I think that the question then is when and how. And I think that this specific quote here is very interesting because it kind of says that there's an intermediate step, right? There's an intermediate step to say that Google's not going to say, okay, we're going to go from 10 blue links into this conversational AI mode like immediately. What they're going to do instead is that they're going to route the queries that are more complex to AI mode. And actually, I think that this makes a ton of sense, right? If I'm searching, what are the best SEO tools for small business owners, in, I don't know, Austin, Texas. And then I think Google's going to look at that and then be like, okay, is this one better served through a conversation? Or is this one better served through, me sending the user to a direct, like 10 blue links? I found for the most part that when I'm using at least my phone, right? I now have Gemini on top of Safari. And Gemini, I pretty much ask Gemini most things, right? I'm like, oh, okay, how do I do this? What's happening there? What are the best places to eat? It's all Gemini, right? And Gemini is great because then I can ask follow-up questions and this or that. However, where Gemini is not good is like more the navigational and transactional, very deep transactional things, right? If I know I want to go to a website like ClearScope, I don't ask Gemini, like what's ClearScope's website? I just type into Safari ClearScope and then I get to click on ClearScope. So I think that that's going to be the natural progression of how this like unfolds. AI mode is slowly going to take over sets of queries where Google believes that AI mode is a better fit. And what we're going to be left with in the far future is probably some sort of a split experience where some queries just send you to 10 blue links because Google understands that, you as a user just want to navigate to Netflix or Amazon, right? And then the other more question-focused things, Google is just going to send you to AI mode. And I believe that that's what's going to happen, which is why, well, I said all of this stuff, but which is why I think the homepage stuff, where is it? Not this. This is important, right? Because these are the navigational searches that people are going to perform, and Google's still going to send people there. And then for the conversational stuff, we really have to create the content that targets the AI web searches, these over here.
Wonderfully explained, Banan. Thank you so much for answering all the questions so far. And thank you so much, dear participants, for asking amazing question and making the session more interactive. So before I take the handover back, I would love to hear final thoughts from you, Banan, for all our participants today.
Yeah, I mean, start investing in AEO, GEO stuff today. You'll pat yourself on the back 6 months, 12 months from now. Don't be afraid to try new things. With great change comes great opportunity. And then the last thing is push back against your executives. If executives are breathing down your back saying, okay, where's our traffic? Get me more traffic. It's your responsibility now to say, look, the traffic's not coming back. Instead, we need to think about things differently. We need to be, getting AI mentions, AI citations, and you have to push back against the executives because the traffic's not coming back. And then last thing is that we do have a 2-week free trial. This is my own like self-promotional shout out, but I posted it in the chat. You can go and sign up for ClearScope, use it for 2 weeks for free, and check out all of our AEO stuff.
Great. Thank you so much, Runan, for sharing suggestions and wonderful thoughts again with our participants. We'll look forward to have more sessions with you at GSTC. Thank you so much for your contribution again. We are really grateful for that. So, dear participants, as I mentioned that I do have some great announcement for all of you. So please allow me a minute so I can share my screen. Here we go. I hope you all can see my screen. So this is regarding the today's session we had on. You can opt out for the certification Certified Generative Engine Optimization Professional. You can use this GEO 20 to get 20% discount on this certification, and you can get in touch with our learning advisor to get more help. So I would love to tell you all these certifications are globally recognized certifications where we are providing learning resources where you will be getting a lot of case studies to work on, e-learnings and book of knowledge. The certifications are lifelong learnings which gives you learning flexibility as well, and you'll be getting chance to connect with our training partner channel, and you'll be having a lot of opportunity to work on capstone project, that is something real-time AI simulation practice. So do grab this opportunity and do sign up yourself for the certification program. You'll find the offer detail link promo code in the chat box. And this is regarding the utility tool. You can use AUG100 as a code to get 100% off. And this is only for our webinar attendees. What this tool is about, this tool will help you to improve your LinkedIn profile score, your AI skills score. Also, it will help help to generate AI generated resumes as well. So check this tool out. You'll find the link, utility link in the chat box along with this promo code. And I'm very happy to make this announcement that currently we are running 3 other webinars in the GSDC, which is scheduled from 26 to 30th January with this incredible panel of AI experts, must know AI strategy series from automation to autonomous intelligence in business. So please do join us. Make the note of the time zone. This is happening at 7:30 a.m. Central, 9:30 p.m. Singapore, 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time and 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That said, we are conducting another series on ISO leadership reset, building a resilient, secure, accountable enterprise. We have experts lined up for this series as well, 26 to 30th January 2026. Do join us for the remaining sessions. Make the note of the time slot, which is 8:30 a.m. Central, 10:30 p.m. Singapore, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and 9:30 a.m. Eastern. And here's our third webinar series that we are conducting in the GSDC on learning and development. So please do join us. We have incredible experts lined up for this as well, which is happening this week, 26 to 30th January 2026, with the time slot 9:30 a.m. Central, 11:30 p.m. Singapore, 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time, and 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You will find all the registration link and the WhatsApp link in the chat box. And here's our referral champions who have referred maximum people to this specific series. Let's congratulate to them. However, you have to earn 50 or more than 50 points to be winner. So unfortunately, they did not reach to the points, but good luck for the next time. So where you can check how many points that you have earned to referring people. Give me a minute so I can quickly share my screen, and I would love to tell you all where you can access. So simply you just have to go to our website, and from there you have to just give me a minute. You have to go to our upcoming GSDC studio sessions, and you have to select that particular Okay, it's a bit slow. Please give me a minute. Bear with me. Here we go. So here's the page, our event web page, where you have to go to the particular session that you have referred people for. So here's the blue link, AI citation mastering the GEO web page, where you have to scroll down a little bit and you're able to see the leaderboard legends. So we have Sujit Kumar and Kalyani. Let's congratulate to them. And by referring people to our session, you will be getting rewards which is worth $400. And it is something that you are referring people to knowledgeable and powerful sessions like this. It is something you are becoming thoughtful leader, isn't it? Right? So do refer maximum people to our to our sessions and share our registration links with them. You'll find all the registration link in the chat box. So going back to the main page, in case if you're looking for any speaker opportunity at GSDC, feel free to reach out to us. We do have a global platform like Learning Capsule, Webinar and Podcast. You can share your speaker profile with us at preetham@gsdcouncil.org or pratibha@gsdcouncil.org. So do share your speaker profile with us. We'll make sure your profile is getting reviewed by the management and we'll be getting back to you with the speaker opportunity if all criteria gets met. And we would love to connect with you all over social media. Scan this QR, connect with us on LinkedIn, check our website for more information regarding all the certification and other offerings that GSDC has for all of you. And please connect with us over the WhatsApp group and our WhatsApp community group to get daily update on event, webinar, boot camps, and all the certification programs. And please do share your valuable feedback on reviews.io and Trustpilot. Thank you so much for joining today's session. I hope to see you all for the next session as well. Until then, keep learning and take care of yourself. Thank you. Thank you, Banan. I'll see you again.